There's a moment many adults in America will never admit out loud, not to friends, not to therapists, sometimes not even to themselves. It's the moment when you're sitting alone in your car, engine off, hands trembling slightly on the steering wheel, staring at the house you grew up in. The house that holds your entire childhood, your entire history, your entire origin story. And for the first time in your life, you realize with absolute clarity that you can't walk through that door anymore. Not because you don't love the people inside, not because you're angry in some temporary fixable way, but because something inside you has finally broken in a way that can't be ignored, can't be minimized, can't be explained away with one more excuse or one more attempt at understanding. Before you listen another second, pause and ask yourself this. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that staying connected to them slowly destroyed you? If that question made your chest tighten, this isn't just a video for you, it's a mirror. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you've been taught about loyalty, family, and what it actually means to survive. Going no contact with family is one of the most forbidden choices a human being can make in our society. It goes against everything we're taught from the moment we're old enough to understand relationships. Family is forever. You only get one mother. Blood is thicker than water. Honor thy father and mother. These aren't just sayings, they're commandments woven into the fabric of American culture, treated almost like moral laws that govern what makes someone good or bad, worthy or selfish. In a culture where loyalty to family is positioned as the ultimate virtue, choosing to step away doesn't feel like a reasonable decision or a healthy boundary. It feels like a betrayal of the highest order, a sin against the natural order of human connection, a line you're not supposed to cross under any circumstances. Yet despite this overwhelming cultural pressure, researchers estimate that over 25% of adults in the United States are currently estranged from at least one family member. That's millions of people, neighbors, co-workers, people sitting next to you in traffic, who looked at the people who raised them, the people who are supposed to love them unconditionally, and whispered through tears, "I can't survive inside this relationship anymore." And maybe the most important question isn't why they left, but what kind of pain makes such a culturally taboo choice feel like the only path to staying emotionally and psychologically alive. In this exploration, we're going to uncover the real psychology behind going no contact, the patterns that lead to it, the wounds that necessitate it, and the truths that most families never face because facing them would require admitting that love alone isn't always enough. If you've ever questioned your own experience, if you've ever wondered whether you're overreacting or being too sensitive, or failing at the most basic human relationship, this breakdown will give you clarity, language, and the validation you may never have received from the people who were supposed to provide it. Let's begin. Estrangement doesn't happen in a single explosion. It doesn't arrive dramatically with slammed doors and shouted ultimatums and a clear moment when everything changed. It happens in the quiet, in the accumulated weight of small moments that no one else notices or remembers. People often imagine that family breakups are caused by some singular dramatic event, a massive fight at Thanksgiving dinner, a heated disagreement about politics or religion, a forgotten birthday or missed wedding. But in almost every real case of estrangement, the final straw is never actually the heaviest one. It's simply the last one placed on a back that has been breaking incrementally, imperceptibly, for years or even decades. Family estrangement is a slow burn, a process of psychological erosion that unfolds across so much time that you don't recognize it's happening until it's nearly complete. It begins with moments so subtle you barely register them as harmful. The dismissive comments disguised as humor, the controlling questions framed as concern, the emotional minimization presented as helpful advice or perspective.
Individually, each moment seems manageable, even harmless. You tell yourself you're overreacting, being too sensitive, making mountains out of molehills. But together, accumulated over years, they form an entire landscape of chronic stress that shapes how you move through the world. You learn to adapt. You learn to make yourself smaller, quieter, less complicated. You learn to ignore the tightening in your chest every time you see their name on your phone. You learn to translate their language, to predict their moods, to manage their emotions before they even fully form. This is what psychologists mean by death by 1,000 cuts. It's not a single devastating blow that destroys you. It's the repetition, the relentlessness, the accumulated weight of moments that individually seem survivable, but collectively become unbearable. And then one day, something small happens. A joke made at your expense in front of others. A boundary you've stated 100 times being crossed as if you never spoke. A moment of casual disrespect, so familiar it feels like reading from a script you've both memorized. But this time, something inside you shifts. A voice you've been suppressing for years finally speaks clearly. I can't do this anymore. Not because this particular moment was different or worse than others, but because you are different, because you finally reached the limit of what you can absorb, excuse, or rationalize away. By the time estrangement becomes visible from the outside, the truth is devastatingly simple. The relationship has been dying in silence for years. The final moment of walking away is just the part that other people choose to see and judge, without understanding the invisible history that made it necessary. In healthy families, there is space, emotional space, psychological space, relational space between parent and child. Space to think differently without it being taken as personal rejection. Space to feel differently without being told your emotions are wrong. Space to become a separate human being with your own preferences, values, and life path. But in enmeshed families, that space simply does not exist. And enmeshment is particularly insidious because it doesn't look like abuse from the outside. It doesn't involve violence or obvious cruelty. It feels like being loved so intensely, so completely, so tightly that you can no longer breathe. It feels like a parent who says with absolute conviction, I know you better than you know yourself, dismissing your own self-knowledge as if it's less valid than their perception. Or, if you really loved me, you would do this, making every decision a referendum on your worthiness as a child. It's the complete collapse of boundaries, the psychological merging of two separate identities into one fused unit. Your emotions become their emotions to manage or dismiss. Your choices become their business to approve or reject. Your life becomes an extension of theirs, existing primarily to validate their identity as a good parent rather than to unfold according to your own authentic needs and desires. And here's the invisible wound that creates the deepest damage. When you try to separate, even in small, completely normal, developmentally appropriate ways, it triggers panic or rage in the parent. Choosing a different career path feels like betrayal of everything they sacrificed. Setting a reasonable boundary feels like disrespect of their authority. Having private thoughts or feelings you don't share feels like abandonment. Family systems theorists call this a failure of differentiation, the inability to be meaningfully connected to someone without being psychologically consumed by them. In enmeshed households, connection always comes at the cost of autonomy. Over time, usually across many years of trying and failing to be both connected and yourself, the child learns a devastating truth that will eventually make estrangement feel inevitable. I can either stay in this relationship or I can be myself, but I cannot be both. And that realization, that fundamental incompatibility between relationship and selfhood, is often the first quiet step toward estrangement. long before the words "no contact" ever appear or the final break becomes visible to the outside world. The path to estrangement is rarely a straight line from recognition to action. It's a winding, painful journey marked by hope, disappointment, and the gradual death of the fantasy that things might somehow change if you just find the right words or the right approach. If this video put words to something you've been carrying in silence, don't let it end here. Click like so this conversation reaches the people who need to hear it but don't know how to ask. Subscribe if you want more honest psychology-based explorations of the experiences we're told not to talk about. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who's questioning their boundaries right now. You might give them the language they've been missing. Most importantly, comment below. You don't have to tell your whole story, just tell us this. What part of this made you feel seen? Your voice matters, and you are not alone in this.